Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm David Kerr from Lansing in Michigan, and these are your latest news headlines from around the world. Pro-abortion supporters dressed in fake blood-stained clothing and holding baby dolls have protested outside the home of US Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. The protest occurred on Saturday at the Justice's residence in Falls Church in Virginia. The protesters are part of a group called Rise Up for Abortion Rights. During the protest, they appeared with their hands tied with tape while clutching baby dolls ahead of a potential Supreme Court decision that may strike down the 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling that legalized abortion across the United States. The US has witnessed several protests outside the residences of justices in recent weeks. On June the 8th, a 26-year-old man was arrested near the Maryland residence of Justice Brett Kavanaugh, accused of plotting to assassinate him. Meanwhile, Catholic bishops are urging the Department of Justice to investigate attacks on churches and pro-life centres. A pro-life pregnancy centre in upstate New York that was firebombed itself earlier this month is now facing another unexpected investigation, this time into the clinic itself. As part of a series of pro-abortion measures, the Governor of New York State, Kathy Hochul, has asked the state's pro-abortion Commissioner of Health, Dr. Mary T. Bassett, to conduct an in-depth study of pro-life pregnancy centres that don't provide abortion services. That includes Compass Care, which is located in the Buffalo suburb of Amherst, New York. Compass Care was both firebombed and vandalised on June the 7th. No suspects have yet been arrested in connection with that attack. A final report from the state's Commissioner of Health into Compass Care and other such facilities is due to be produced by December 2023. Lawmakers in California have taken one step closer to amending their state constitution to expand and entrench legal access to abortion for pregnant mothers. On Monday, the state Senate approved Senate Constitutional Amendment 10 in a 29-7 vote. The bill moves to the State Assembly now, where 2/3 of lawmakers must approve it by June the 30th. If approved, the matter will go before California's voters in November. Pope Francis says that the present conflict in Ukraine should not make people oblivious to what has been happening in Syria for the past 12 years. The Holy Father made his observation on Monday while addressing the Synod of Bishops of the Greek Melkite Catholic Church, who are currently in Rome. We cannot allow the last spark of hope to be taken away from the eyes and hearts of young people and families, said the Pope. He also appealed to the international community to have a fair and just solution to what is happening in Syria. It was back in 2011 that a peaceful uprising against President Bashar al-Assad of Syria quickly developed into a full-scale civil war. The conflict has since left 500,000 people dead, devastated cities, and drawn in other countries. The Syrian government has now regained control of Syria's biggest cities, but large parts of the country are still held by rebels, jihadists, and Kurdish-led forces as well. Pope Francis also expressed concern about the survival of the Christian community in the Middle East in general. He also reminded the bishops that although Melkites are scattered around the world, they have to remain rooted in their traditions and origins, which lie in the city of Antioch, which once lay in ancient Syria and is now part of southern Turkey. The parents of a 12-year-old British boy who has been declared brain dead have won the right to appeal against a High Court ruling allowing his hospital to remove life support. Earlier this month, the High Court in London ruled that the Royal London Hospital could remove the life support mechanism from Archie Battersby. He was found unconscious with a knot around his neck on April the 7th. It was reported that he was a victim of an internet blackout challenge. At the first hearing last week, the High Court heard from a paediatric neurologist who claimed that there are numerous documented cases where persons diagnosed as brain dead subsequently do recover. A spokesperson said that Archie's parents, Holly Dance and Paul Battersby, were delighted by the latest court ruling. The bishops of Colombia have congratulated President-elect Gustavo Petro and Vice President-elect Francia Marquez upon their election victory on Sunday. In a Facebook post put up on Sunday, Archbishop Luis Jose Rueda Aparicio of Bogotá, who is the head of the Colombian Bishops' Conference, greeted the new leaders. In his message on behalf of all the bishops, he said, "May they have the wisdom of God to lead the destinies of the history of Colombia." The prelate also congratulated all the people of the nation who voted for carrying out a responsible and mature democratic effort which shows love for Colombia. Mr. Petro will be the nation's first left-leaning president. It was on Sunday that the second round runoff was held. After most of the votes were counted, Mr. Petro bagged 50.4% of the poll, while his rival Rodolfo Hernandez secured only 47%. Meanwhile, the bishops of Kenya are warning voters not to elect leaders who propagate immorality and unethical practices. While addressing a congregation at Our Lady of Consolata Cathedral in Nyeri on Monday, Archbishop Anthony Muheria of Nyeri read out a communique issued by the country's bishops. In the statement, the Kenyan Conference of Catholic Bishops said that the next crop of national leaders should uphold the common good of all citizens and also uphold the Christian and African family values. The prelate also urged citizens to question candidates on their stance on ethical issues such as sexual behaviour and drug use among the young. We specifically caution you and ask you to stand up against those leaders who propose to destroy life at its initial stages by proposing to support abortion as an agenda, added the statement. The people of Kenya go to the polls on August the 9th when they will elect a new president, as well as members of the National Assembly and Senate, county governors, and members of the 47 county assemblies. Washington DC will play host to an International Religious Freedom Summit from June the 28th to the 30th. The gathering will bring together a broad spectrum of speakers. There will be discussions based on religious persecution in Africa, China, the Middle East and other parts of the globe. Co-chairs of the summit are Sam Brownback, who was the Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom from 2018 to 2021, and Katrina Lantos Sweat, President of the Lantos Foundation for Human Rights. The event is co-organised by the persecution watchdog In Defence of Christians. Finally, the noted Russian journalist and Nobel Peace Prize winner Dmitry Muratov has auctioned off his Nobel Gold Medal for a whopping $103.5 million in New York on Monday. The proceeds of the sale will now go to the welfare of child refugees in Ukraine. Muratov, who's a long-standing and vocal critic of President Vladimir Putin, had earlier announced that his Nobel Prize money of $500,000 will also go for the Ukrainian cause. Muratov and journalist Maria Ressa of the Philippines were awarded the Peace Prize in 2021 for their struggle to defend free speech in their respective countries. The Russian journalist was the founder and editor-in-chief of the Novaya Gazeta newspaper. It was forced to close down in March of last year following the crackdown on independent journalists who are critical of the administration of Vladimir Putin. Well, that's all for now. Do join us for more tomorrow. You can also join us at swnews.org for news updates. Shalom.